everybody. I'm Arlen Jr. and welcome to the Shoot Par Now Golf Show. I got my main man, James Stemmer.
Hey, everybody.
Check out his shirt. He's styling today.
Warriors, University of Hawaii.
I am a proud alumni of University of Hawaii, and not many people get to say that, but that shirt looks really good on you.
It does, man.
If I would have known, I would have gone all out. We could have found something.
We'll plan that. We'll have to do that.
Before we get started, I want to thank our sponsor. Sailfish Turf is one of our sponsors. They make putting greens for your home. They'll turf your whole yard. They can do all kinds of cool stuff with artificial turf. And we have a special that we're doing. They went ahead and built a putting green for me to be able to sell to my students. It's a pro level. It's a 15-foot. It can even be 18 feet, but 15-foot, 3-foot wide, 3 cups. Putt's great. Turf's really high quality, so I think it's an 11 on the stem meter, they say. But if you're looking for something for Father's Day, it's normally $649, but $499 if you want to get one from Coach Arlen. So Sailfish Turf, okay? Speaking of turf, pretty good weekend in Ohio. It didn't even look like real grass. It looked like it was fake grass.
I actually was working at my buddy's cigar shop on Saturday.
Yeah.
And one of the ladies that was there with her husband, he was shopping, and she looked and she actually asked, "Is that real grass?"
It did not look like real grass.
It looked like it was painted on, man.
How did it?
It looked so good.
Oh, and people say the weather hasn't been good up there, but man, it was good, wasn't it?
I'll tell you what, it's, kudos to the
crew and whatever they do there.
The superintendent and his entire crew.
That place was amazing.
Yeah. Like that rough was lush and thick and sticky and
but it had such contrast though between the fairway and the rough and the cuts. I mean, it was beautiful.
Oh yeah.
I was shocked every time they showed the picture. I was like, man, that doesn't even look like a real place, does it?
And then you watch it. One time we had the Women's Open on one TV,
right?
More on the other. And you're watching the Women's Open at Erin Hills, and the greens looked like they were just baked. Oh my God!
Fast and hard.
They looked like concrete.
Yeah, Memorial didn't look like concrete, did it?
No, it did not.
But let me tell you, some of those greens played like concrete.
Oh yeah, they were tough.
There were some tough greens out there. So again, congratulations to
what's that guy's name?
I don't know. You know what? I think he's got potential. I think this be a guy that
he could be pretty good someday.
So we're talking about Scottie Scheffler, right? So he won the Memorial. He looked incredible, and again, Ben Griffin right there. He fell apart down the stretch, kind of ran out of gas, and
had his third win in 6 weeks.
But they're in the final group. I watched Saturday. He played great. And it's funny because we've been doing the coverage, and Straka was there. Yep. Spieth was in contention, which was nice to see.
Was good to see, yeah.
And good field, but golly, Scottie, my goodness!
And all he did on Saturday was make pars.
Yeah, he just kind of hung around, but he had, but it was.
I even mentioned, it looks like a U.S. Open card. It's just par, and he just kind of played his cards, made a couple of, and let everybody else fall back
because it was
ahead of him. It was, of course, played tough on the back nine coming in.
So it's funny, right? Because you realize too that some golf courses represent the people who, this is a Jack Nicklaus event, right? It's his biggest event, right? And what does Scottie play? High cut. Guess who else played high cut? Guess who else? So I'm telling you, a lot of the shots on that golf course, they were built to Mr. Nicklaus's eye. I'm telling you, till this day, that high cut player has an advantage there.
Oh yeah.
And I think, I was watching Scheffler, he had things at 175 feet. He hit the ball so high.
He hit the ball way high, yeah.
But you kind of have to.
And that was how Jack was so good. He hit his long iron so high that they would stop
on a
short iron.
Yeah.
And not a lot of other guys in his era could do that.
I watched quite a bit of Saturday, and like you said, I don't think he hit it great on Saturday, but man, he chipped it and got up and down, and I'm just astounded. I've been watching. There's a couple takes from the telecast where they're behind the hole, right? And you would think at that level that the greens would be perfect, right? Mm-hmm. And they probably are compared to what most people look like. But even on those greens, man, even Jack was commenting. He's like, "Yeah, this one should break a little, whatever," and he knew it. He knew the break. and the ball's going down here, and you can see the ball like
trying to go.
Yeah, and it kind of dipped at the end, and the next guy did the same putt, and it kind of dipped to the, and I always like, oh, that makes me feel better because I miss so many putts where like I putt it one time and it dives left, and I go, how can that dive left? And I putt it again, and then it goes right.
It goes right, yeah.
And so there's always those things on the ground, that you can't see, But what did you think of the tournament?
It was fun to watch.
Yeah.
It was nice to see Ricky play well.
Yeah.
Ricky earned his way into the U.S. Open with that finish.
Oh, I didn't know he was on the bubble for that.
Yeah, he was on the bubble, earned his way into the U.S. Open, so that's good. Jordan Spieth
was right there.
And I've been watching him all year, and all year long his body language has been terrible. He seems very dejected, very defeated. He's got his head down, he's walking with his shoulders kind of slumped.
I didn't pick up
this
on that.
week,
he had a little pep in his step.
He had a little pep in his step. His shoulders were back, his chest was out. He walked with you could tell he had a lot more confidence playing this week than I've seen him in weeks past.
Oh, that's a good sign because if you're not confident, you got no chance.
Oh yeah.
So it's interesting how this year is kind of shaping up. We're not covering the LIV, right? We're just kind of sticking with the tour because it's right in front of us. We've been doing it a long time, but it's interesting watching a lot of tour events. So my question is, this is the question, right? So we're watching Scottie Scheffler be dominant, right? Is he dominant because there's 12 of the best players in the world that aren't there? And the answer is yes. That's what I think. I think if those LIV guys were not on LIV,
which 12 are you going to take?
Rahm,
okay,
DeChambeau,
okay,
Koepka,
okay,
Johnson. Look at all the captains. You kind of got to go captains.
Dustin Johnson.
You don't think if Dustin Johnson was playing the tour regular that he would be sharper?
It wouldn't take much for him to be sharper right now.
Now remember again, we got to go back and say he didn't get the $100 million or whatever. He
never left and stayed there. Yeah,
correct.
Because he was on his game when he left. Yeah,
because they have to. So we've talked about this when we had radio shows, right? I used to make fun of Ricky and Jordan and Justin because they get all this money and there's no killer instinct to them. It's like,
oh yeah.
And so the same thing happened with LIV, right?
You'll be a little hungry.
The only one that's really hungry, I think, was DeChambeau. But again, is he spending? If you watch these guys, he's spending so much time on his YouTube channel, and building that side of the business, and it's really fascinating. But there is no way you can play 3 times a week, no cut, and still have the competitive ability or sharpness that someone who's playing 4 rounds and a Pro-Am. Now, again, they're watching their schedules. They're doing what they got to do. But I think this is – I would have took the money too. Don't get me wrong. I would have took the money. Professional golfer, you're going to pay me $100 million, guarantee me for, generational wealth. You take it, right? Yeah. But they got to stay sharp because then they become irrelevant. So when does Dustin Johnson reach a point where nobody wants to watch him? Is he relevant? Is he relevant at all?
I
Right?
think he's relevant right now.
It's not must-see golf.
No.
So, I don't know. No. So, again, is Scheffler must-see golf? Scheffler's must-see golf.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, again, it's going to be interesting going into Father's Day, right? So, U.S. Open, Father's Day, arguably great tournament. They say the U.S. Open is the greatest tournament because anybody could qualify.
Yeah. It's certainly one of the hardest, if not the hardest.
So it's always going to be interesting to all that plays out. Hey, I saw
Oakmont.
Oh my gosh! Yeah. How long did they make? Have they made Oakmont? They've probably done the lengthening, right?
I'm sure
yeah, because they're not going to run it like you said. Oakmont. So years ago, right when I was young and working, when we were first met years ago. But remember, so Bob Ford was the head pro at Oakmont. Remember that name? Mm-hmm. And he used to be a member and be down here in the winter when I was head pro at PGA, right? And I watched Bob play like twice because really good player. Excellent player. And I remember thinking, wow, I really like the swing. He's a tall guy. And I remember them saying that, when you work at a place at Oakmont, the pros are always like, you got to be an excellent player. And I think Ford was actually Oakmont and Seminole, I remember too.
Wow.
Like that was his 2 back and forth. So
Good bookends, aren't they?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, well, that's the top of the totem pole for golf pros, but great golf course. So that'd be exciting to watch. I saw something online, and I can't find it. I'm sure I got to go look for it, but it just cracked me up, and I've been sharing with my students. Did you see the meme of the guy that critiqued Scottie Scheffler's swing?
No, I did not.
Oh gosh, you have to watch it. So it kind of opens up like this. It's like, hey, Scottie, thanks for sending me your video. Let's take a look and see what you got going on. And so he's running. He says, okay, you look a little upright in your setup. He's like watching you take it. Kind of, wow, you really get the face wide open in your takeaway. And he kind of crossed the line at the top. And I want to work on that. Okay, your transition's good. Okay. Whoa, what's going on with the feet? It's like, wow. He goes, and he's playing it back and forth. He goes, wow, I've never seen that, And then he goes through impact. He goes, oh, no, that looked pretty good. Impact was good, and follow through, okay. So he says, so here's what I recommend. Let's get you signed up for a 25-pack. And I think over the summer, if we work really hard, I'm assuming you're kind of a bogey golfer, right? And if we could just get your, some of these positions right, I'm sure it'll help your ball striking. And, we'll work on some short game and do that. But I think that's what we should do.
Especially the feet thing. That kills me.
So remember we were talking about the PGA, right? And I was telling you, he was pulling the ball. Remember that was the PGA when he was pulling, right?
Yeah.
And I was telling you, there's a video of him talking about how when he gets the club a little inside in his takeaway, which, is a problem for some good players, and then he kind of crosses the line at the top, which I kind of do too. And he was putting a pencil and he was saying how, whatever. But it's like you watch his swing, and again, it's probably not the swing that anyone is coaching position-wise.
Yeah.
Now, impact, he's good, right? Arguably, he's the best ball striker in the world right now. Got to be, right?
I mean, darn close.
Yeah, I mean, so again, this goes back to, okay, so is the golf swing style, right, or efficiency, or, and it's efficiency. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be really good at the bottom.
Yeah, the ball only knows one thing. Impact.
Yep, and he is as good as anybody at impact. If you've
got a guy that can swing like Jim Furyk,
yep,
and win a lot of golf, win a lot of tournaments,
yep,
and make a lot of money, I mean,
what are you talking about? Yeah,
I mean, I had David Faraday on my radio show one time, and he said that Jim Furyk's swing looks like an octopus falling out of a tree.
I've heard that. He has said that multiple times.
He says,
octopus out of a tree. Remember, that's a good one.
He says that, but
it works.
Look at his spot at impact, and he's right there with all the other good ball strikers.
His impact is as good as anybody.
Doesn't matter how you get there, as long as you get there.
Furyk's impact is as good as anybody. That's why he was such a good. They said he was really good in the U.S. Opens, right? Because he was accurate. Back in those days, you had to be accurate, and there wasn't as much length involved, right? Because they were still playing softer balls or whatever. But yeah, Jim Furyk's another great example of a swing that you wouldn't necessarily coach, but again, works pretty good. So even when I'm working on like my players, like I've got 3 young guys that have great swings. They know they do, but it's funny. We're talking about competitive golf, and so they're all going to be seniors this year, okay? And they're all like, they play on their teams. They'll play, but their scores don't match their swings, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. They swing good, and I was telling them, having this conversation, and there's a bunch of junior tournaments going on, and these guys, unfortunately, didn't play enough. Like they didn't cross over earlier and became like junior golf tournament players, and that's a big deal for going to another level, right? To become a really good junior golfer. So speaking of junior golfer, how about Charlie Woods, huh?
Charlie had a really good weekend, didn't he?
Shot 66. And I don't know if it was an AJGA event. Now, those of you who are watching, AJGA is like the tour of junior golf, right? It's American Junior Golf Association. And if I'm not mistaken, he won, this event that he won wasn't a normal event. It was like the top.
His first one in AJGA, yeah.
Yeah, but it wasn't just an AJGA. It was like a top 60 event. It was like the best of the best, right? And he's like ranked like 600 in the world. It's not like he's like, guess what? He just moved up a bunch.
Shot rounds of 70, 65, 66.
That'll do it.
Played out a stream song.
Ooh.
And I haven't played out there, but I got a lot of friends that have played out there, and they're like,
That's a hard golf.
That's a really solid golf course.
Yeah. I wonder if they rotated through. I think there's 3, right? There's a black and a red and something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he shot 66 the last day.
Yeah.
But if you look at that headline too, I mean, obviously, if you win an AJGA event, it's like winning on tour. Because if you look at the field, that's where the tour players come from, right?
I mean, that's your peers. That's yeah.
But he was not even. I mean, I'm surprised he's even in it.
Mm.
I mean, 600 in the world. How does he get into the top 60 players in the world? Or so? I mean, well, yeah, we know why. But.
I don't know his name.
Kinda.
Daddy kind of threw his name out.
No, I don't think it's Daddy. I mean, I think he had to earn it. You know, I'm sure he's got enough points, whatever. But
and as good as he played,
yeah, he only won by like 1 shot, right? Or
Jesse Hebner of Port St. Lucie finished in 5th place.
Oh, he did.
So we had a local kid finish in 5th place.
What's his kid's name?
Jesse Hebner.
Oh, that's the kid that played at Lincoln Park, I think. Yeah, I think that's the same kid. He's really good. Yeah, so that's another kid, big time golfer kid.
One
so
of our locals. That's good.
Yeah,
and Charlie's local too. I mean, Jupiter's local enough.
Hey, Charlie Woods played the Saints. I watched him play twice. So you know when he was playing U.S. Kids a couple years ago,
Yeah.
There he was at my golf course playing golf. You know he shot 82 or 3 at the Saints when he played a couple years ago. Maybe it's got to be 3-4 years ago.
I shot that there.
Yeah, so have I. But I was like, oh my, the Saints that tough? It's like he just had a bad day. He probably went out here like that. I can't putt on these greens. This is not stream song. Said, yes, it is, Charlie. It's my stream song. It's our stream song. We love the Saints.
That's right.
But congratulations to him. You know, I hope that he can achieve his goals because it's really tough to be the offspring of someone of Tiger's caliber. You remember when Jack Nicklaus' son Gary, he was considered the best player junior in the world or whatever.
Yeah, I remember when he played on the Golden Bear Tour here for a little bit.
He was on the cover of major magazines, and all that stuff, and that's hard shoes to fill.
We saw him this weekend. He was there at the memorial.
Yeah.
I saw him walking. He had his mother's arm helping Barbara get to her chair there behind the 18th green.
That's nice.
I was like, oh, there's Gary. You haven't seen him in forever.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We used to I used to see him a lot because his so Gary's son, GT, played against my teams for years, and I got to see him from I think 6th grade and then all the way up through high school. And then when I left, he was still probably had a couple years left, but he's a good player. I don't think GT had continued with the golf though. I don't think he did the same. I forgot, I kind of lost him, but doesn't just because your name is Nicholas doesn't mean you're guaranteed to have big time success. Neither is having the name Woods. Yeah. Well, we are definitely we had some rain come through our area. Our golf course is closed for a couple days, doing aerification. Got camps coming up next week. Just finished. We just had a VIP 8-week program that I launched that closed on Saturday. Got about a dozen people signed up, so it filled up. So I'll be training 12 people over the next 8 weeks. So they come inside once a week. Mm-hmm. I threw them 2 outside sessions. We got to try to get them. It's hard, but we get to see them hit balls outside. They're going to be using my online coach app, Coach Now, so they get to upload 2 videos. I'm giving them everything I got, every practice guide. I was giving a guy today. Practice guide, CBA, PMI, my whole system. And at the end of summer, we're going to have a little Shoot Par Now event. I'm going to bring some sponsor stuff out and kind of have a little, it won't be a big, but it'd be kind of fun. Yeah. But I'm curious because I expected a bunch of juniors to sign up for it. I only got 1, and the rest were all like grown-ups. Oh. So we're gonna put them in the grinder a little bit for 8 weeks and see how they do. But they're loving it. Yeah, they're loving it because a lot of people just never been coached. Yeah. So anyway, if you ever want to be coached, check out Shoot Par Now. Get the learning app. It's $60 a year to join. Be a member, and we'll give you all the stuff, and you can follow along. You want to take online lessons, you can. Make sure to follow Jimmy and myself on Instagram. It's James Stammer Golf, right?
Stammer Golf. Sorry,
Stammer Golf. I always forget Stammer Golf, and mine is my name, Arlen Benter Jr. And we're putting a lot of stuff up there to help you with your golf game, and that kind of thing. Any other things going on golf-wise?
You mentioned that they're aerifying.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people that it drives them nuts when their course aerifies.
Right.
But I mean, it's a necessary evil.
Oh, you
folks.
have to do it.
You got to
gotta
do it.
Yeah.
Because everything gets compacted. You've got to get air down to the roots.
Grass can't grow. There's no place to grow.
And if you ever wonder, oh, gee, how compacted could it possibly get? Pick up one of those little pellets that's left. That's been pulled out and try to crush it.
People might not.
Cement.
People watching might not know what that means, but there's aerification means they go on the golf course, they punch holes into the green, and they pull out these little cores.
Yeah.
And they're about the size of a pinky.
Yeah.
Well, depending how big the
newer
pinky is.
ones are a little narrower. They're more like a pencil size.
Ours are, so it's not as
heal a
damaged.
little faster.
They do. And then they grind them all up, and then they layer it with sand. And what happens is the grass grows into the holes, aerification holes, and that makes new growth, and that makes the green strong. So usually aerification is twice a year.
Yeah.
And
we usually do it late spring, early summer. We're usually in May, sometime in May, early June.
Yeah.
And then they'll do it again in September.
Yeah.
To get ready for the
season. Yeah.
The busy
season.
So
our course does it a little later because they like being busy in May, and then we'll do. This will be, if I'm not mistaken, we do a big one now. So it's a deeper time, and then it comes back because summer's here, and then we do water jet aerification, I think, in the fall.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so you don't notice, but the water is another way to press materials down. And we really needed aerification because we've been struggling. When we did our course renovation and our things a couple of summers ago, we ended up with some grass, like weeded grass from the birds and animal life that we couldn't get off the green in winter. We got bumpy stuff. And so I think now that with aerification starts, we'll be able to kind of get some of those weeds out of there because it'll break the weed structure out.
Yeah, and now you're in a growing season, so
the grass will come back. But when you break the weed structure, I think it'll die and you can pull it out. And when you hit it with your chemicals, it'll do a better job. So I'm excited. And I sent a little note to our superintendent, who I really appreciate. If you ever watch this, because you do a great job of what you got. And I asked to make sure that the practice hole, because when I went out to the golf course on Friday with my junior training, my friends, the Sandhill Cranes, destroyed my practice hole green. There had to it wasn't quite like wild boars, but you should see how much damage they could do.
Oh, it's insane.
Yeah. So I said, hey, I don't know if you saw it, but I'm sure they did. But please, can you punch it so at least it'll grow back? And I know
that's what the birds were doing. They were trying to help.
They were trying to help. Sandhill Cranes, like, do you want them? Come get some. They're cute, especially the babies. Not on a golf course. No. Sandhill Cranes are not my friends on a golf course. Yeah. They're protected, but
they'll just tear the place up.
Don't like them,
and they're looking for bugs.
Well, obviously they must be bugs on my practice green because they wouldn't have tore it up. They didn't tear up the golf.
Crazy spree.
They were looking for some stuff, but anyway. So anyway, that's our show for this week. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm sure we'll have some stuff to talk about next week.
We'll find something.
Yeah. So thanks for watching. We'll see you guys really soon.
Good night, everybody.